Maybe it's comforting, in a twisted way, that Mike McDaniel has already been here so many times. Maybe it's not comforting at all. Maybe it's the kind of thing that makes you wonder if experience is supposed to make this hurt less, or if it just makes you more aware of how deep the hole is. Because here we are again, watching the Miami Dolphins slide down a slope that feels both familiar and endlessly frustrating. 3 straight losses. Again. It's like déjà vu, except you can feel the weight a little heavier each time. There's a strange rhythm to it now, isn't there? This rise and fall, this flicker of hope that burns bright for a moment before it dims and disappears under the same old clouds. McDaniel's Dolphins, so electric when they're on, so dizzying when they're off, are back in that gray zone where excuses meet reality. And for all the talk about progress and growth and culture, the numbers tell a story that doesn't lie. 7 times in 3.5 years, this team has lost 3 games in a row. 7. It's not a fluke. It's a pattern. And maybe that's the hardest part to swallow, because McDaniel doesn't come across as a man without answers. He's not lost on the sidelines. He talks like someone who understands exactly what's happening, but can't quite stop the bleeding. "I'm very motivated in times such as these," he said recently. You could see it in his eyes, that spark that tries to convince everyone, maybe even himself, that this is just another test, another storm to survive, another moment for leadership to show its worth. But how many storms before the roof caves in? It's only 7 games into the season, but the Dolphins already look like they've run through an entire year's worth of disappointment. 2 separate 3-game losing streaks, wrapped around a single victory. And that win? It came against a team that hasn't won a game all year. The math doesn't lie. 1-6. No playoff talk. Not this time. Not yet again. And still, McDaniel stands there with his calm tone and his careful explanations, like he's walking a tightrope between accountability and optimism. "Your true test as a coach does come in adverse situations," he said. Of course, he's right. But at what point does the test stop being a test and start being the defining feature of the era? You can look at it from every angle, and it's always the same paradox. For every stretch of failure, there's a burst of brilliance. Under McDaniel, this team has gone on 4 separate runs of at least 3 straight wins, sometimes more. The highs are real. The offense clicks, the defense swarms, and suddenly everyone's talking about the Dolphins again. You start to believe this is it, the year the pieces finally hold together. But the crash always comes, doesn't it? Like clockwork. It's the roller coaster that never stops. The kind of ride that leaves you dizzy and exhausted, wondering if you should get off or hold on tighter. In McDaniel's first season, it was the same script. Lose 3, win 5, lose 5. The middle was beautiful, the ending a collapse. The second year, more of the same. The third, a few new wrinkles, but the same heartbeat. And now a new season, the same pulse. The Dolphins soar, stumble, rise, fall. Over and over again. He's not blind to it. McDaniel knows exactly how this sounds, how it looks, how it feels. In my 20-year NFL career, it's not my first, nor will it be my last losing streak, he said. He's not wrong. This is the NFL. It's brutal. It's unpredictable. It's built to humble even the brightest minds. But still, doesn't it feel like this team has been living in that in-between space too long? Not bad enough to collapse completely. Not strong enough to break through? And maybe that's what wears you down as a fan. The endless middle. The constant balancing act between hope and heartbreak. You've seen the flashes of what this offense can be. When Tua is sharp, when Tyreek is unleashed, when everything clicks. It's magic. It's fast and fearless and alive. But then there are the moments when it all unravels, when protection breaks down, when decisions freeze midair, and suddenly you remember how fragile this all is. It's not just losing. It's the way they lose. The rhythm of it. The games that start with fire and end with confusion. The chances that slip away in the third quarter because something, always something, goes wrong. And you wonder, is it the scheme? The mentality? The leadership? Or is it just that cruel balance of talent and timing that never seems to align in Miami? You can see it in the faces on the sideline, the frustration masked by focus, the silent questions that don't need to be said aloud. The fans feel it too. That quiet ache behind every kickoff. You want to believe. You always want to believe. But how many times can you rebuild belief before it starts to crack? McDaniel doesn't talk like a man giving up. If anything, he doubles down. He always does. He believes in the process, in the idea that structure will outlast chaos. He said before that he signed up for the hard parts, not the easy ones. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's what keeps him grounded. The acceptance that this league doesn't hand you anything. But acceptance doesn't change the scoreboard. It doesn't make 1-6 feel like anything other than what it is. What's strange is that, for all the losing, the Dolphins don't feel like a broken team. Not yet. There's still something alive in them, something restless. You can see it in flashes, a perfect drive, a fearless defensive stand, a spark that reminds you this isn't just another rebuild gone stale. But that spark fades faster now, doesn't it? It flickers, then it's gone, replaced by that same familiar silence. Maybe it's not about talent anymore. Maybe it's about identity. Who are the Dolphins right now? A team that can explode for 30 points when the rhythm hits, or one that disappears under pressure the second something goes wrong? The answer shifts week to week, and that's the problem. You can't build momentum on instability. And still, the belief lingers. Maybe that's the curse of being a Dolphins fan. This quiet loyalty that doesn't fade even when reason tells you to stop. You've lived through the highs, the heartbreaks, the rebuilds that promised salvation and delivered déjà vu. You've seen coaches come and go, players rise and fall, and still, every Sunday you tune in, hoping this will be the game that turns it all around. Maybe it's faith. Maybe it's madness. Maybe both. There's something almost poetic in how McDaniel carries it all. The weight, the expectation, the scrutiny. He doesn't lash out or deflect. He stands in front of the microphones, takes the questions, and answers with that same steady tone. But you can hear it sometimes, the edge, the exhaustion hiding behind the calm. He knows what people are saying. He knows what 1-6 looks like. He knows that rebuilding stops being an excuse after a while. He also knows that leadership is measured in moments like these. And that's where this gets complicated. Because for all the talk about growth and accountability, the results haven't followed. The same mistakes linger, the sloppy starts, the slow adjustments, the inability to finish games. And yet, McDaniel still talks about lessons, about learning, about staying the course. Maybe he's right. Maybe this is what growth looks like. Messy, uneven, frustrating. Or maybe it's just another cycle pretending to be progress. The truth is, no one really knows anymore. You can analyze stats, watch film, compare trends. It all leads back to the same feeling. This team is capable of more, but more never seems to last. Every time they build something, the cracks start showing before it sets. And yet, somehow, you can't stop watching. You can't stop caring. Because there's always that whisper, that maybe. Maybe this is the bottom before the climb. Maybe this time, the lesson sticks. Maybe McDaniel figures it out, the team rallies, and the second half of the season flips the script. You've seen it before, those mid-season turnarounds that make you forget the pain for a while. Maybe this could be another one. Or maybe it's just another false dawn. What's next for McDaniel feels uncertain, but not doomed. He's still respected, still seen as one of the league's sharpest defensive minds. Players still buy into him. But even belief has an expiration date. If the losing keeps coming, if the same patterns keep repeating, that belief starts to crumble. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, until it's gone. And that's when things really fall apart. For now, it's not there yet. There's frustration, yes, but not rebellion. There's disappointment, but not surrender. The Dolphins are still fighting. You can see it, even through the losses. But fight alone doesn't win games. Strategy does. Execution does. Consistency does. And that's where this story keeps breaking down. It's almost eerie how predictable it's become. You can feel it in the rhythm of the season. The hot start, the stumble, the rally, the crash. Like the team is caught in some loop it can't escape. And maybe the hardest part is knowing they're good enough to break it, but somehow never do. McDaniel calls it a big boy league. And he's right. It's not for the faint of heart. It's brutal, unforgiving, and it doesn't wait for you to figure things out. But that's exactly what makes it worth watching, isn't it? Because the pain, the struggle, the doubt, they all make the breakthrough matter more. And maybe, just maybe, that breakthrough is still coming. But for now, it's the silence after another loss. The empty seats clearing out too early. The coach walking off the field with that same steady stride. The fans shaking their heads, but already thinking about next week. Because no matter how many times this team falls, you still look for that one game that changes everything. You always do.